This move immediately stakes a claim in the center, opening lines for the queen and king's bishop, and is the most popular first move as it allows for rapid development and strategic options. This move initiates the Sicilian defense, a highly popular and complex opening that immediately creates an unbalanced pawn structure and offers black excellent counterplay on the queenside. This move, nf3, is a very common and flexible continuation in the Sicilian defense, aiming to control central squares and prepare for further development while potentially preparing d4. This move develops a piece and prepares to challenge white's central control, entering the main line of the Sicilian defense. This move immediately challenges black's central control, opening the pawn structure and initiating the core strategic battle of the Sicilian defense, aiming to exploit black's central pawn deficit. This move, cxd4, resolves the central tension and embraces the open Sicilian, leading to dynamic positions where black will aim to exploit the d-file and potentially create queenside counterplay. This recapture solidifies white's central pawn presence and opens lines for piece development, typical in the open Sicilian. This move initiates a setup characteristic of the classical variation of the king's Indian attack, aiming to fianchetto the bishop to g7 to control the long diagonal and prepare for kingside castling. This move, c4, immediately stakes a claim in the center and prepares to develop the bishop to g2, aiming for an aggressive setup against black's g6 structure in the open Sicilian. This move initiates the king's Indian defense setup within the Sicilian structure, aiming to fianchetto the bishop to control the long diagonal and prepare for kingside castling. This move prepares to castle kingside and supports the pawn on c4, solidifying white's central space and opening a diagonal for the queen. Developing the knight to f6 controls the central d5 square and prepares to castle kingside, fitting harmoniously into the hedgehog formation that black often aims for in these Sicilian variations. This move develops a piece towards the center and prepares to castle, reinforcing white's control over the d5 square and setting up a solid pawn structure in the Sicilian dragon. Castling kingside now is a natural developing move, securing the king and preparing to connect the rooks for future play. This move develops the bishop to a stable square, supporting the knight on c3 and preparing to castle queenside, a common plan in this Sicilian dragon variation. This move solidifies the pawn chain and prepares to develop the queen's bishop, aiming for a solid position against white's aggressive pawn structure. This move completes white's kingside development and prepares to connect the rooks, a standard procedural step in many openings after castling. This move prepares to reroute the knight to a more active square, typically f6 or e5, and supports the central pawn structure in this Sicilian dragon variation. This move prepares to connect the rooks after castling and can support a queenside expansion with b4. This move strategically repositions the knight to a more active central square, preparing to contest the d5 square and potentially launch an attack on the queenside. This move repositions the rook to the d-file, which is likely to open up and supports potential pawn pushes like e5 or d5 to gain central space and prepare further queenside expansion. This move brings the queen into the game, eyeing the c3 knight and potentially preparing to challenge white's queenside development by creating threats along the a5-e1 diagonal. This move reroutes the knight from the central d4 square, potentially to reinforce the queenside or to evade further pressure on the d4 pawn while preparing to challenge black's active queenside play. This move 12, qb4 aims to challenge white's d4 knight and potentially create imbalances. though it also exposes the queen to further harassment and allows white to gain central space with d5. This move repositions the queen from the vulnerable c1h6 diagonal to a more secure central square, allowing it to support the knight on b3 and potentially participate in kingside action. This move develops the bishop to a more active square, preparing to challenge white's control of the d5 square and potentially support a e5 pawn break. This move centralizes the knight, targeting the weak c7 square and preparing to exchange off black's key defensive piece, the bishop on g7. If black plays bxd5, this move resolves black's central tension and aims to disrupt white's piece coordination after white's knight retreated to a less active square. This capture opens the a-file for white's rook and creates a pawn majority on the queenside, while black must now consider the structural implications of the doubled b-pawns. This move captures a pawn but opens up your king to counterplay and neglects development on the king side, potentially leading to strategic disadvantages. This move activates the rook to potentially contest the open d-file and offers a defensive maneuver to protect against potential discovered attacks or threats along the b-file after black's queen recently repositioned. This exchange of pieces resolves a pawn tension and simplifies the position, opening the a-file for white's rook while creating a potential weakness on the b3 pawn. This pawn capture opens the e-file and liberates white's queen, creating central tension and preparing for further pawn advances or piece activity. This move correctly challenges white's strong knight on d5, preparing to exchange it and relieve the pressure on black's position. This move repositions the rook to an active file, aiming to support a potential kingside attack or pressure black's queenside pawn structure. Black's move 18. qb4 repositions the queen to a more active square, aiming to disrupt white's kingside pressure and potentially exploit the weakness on the b2 pawn. This move repositions the queen to a more active square, supporting the rook on a2 and potentially creating threats against black's queenside. This pawn advance aims to challenge white's control of the queenside and create active play for black's pieces by opening lines. This move aims to centralize the rook and put pressure on black's queenside pawn structure, potentially forcing concessions in exchange for activity on the queenside. Black's queen maneuvers to a4, directly attacking white's queenside pawn structure and aiming to exploit the slightly exposed position of the b3 pawn. This move is a tactical sacrifice that aims to exploit black's slightly misplaced queen and open lines for white's rooks. This exchange simplifies the position, with black recapturing the piece and accepting a slight structural concession on the queenside in exchange for active piece play against white's king. This exchange simplifies the position, allowing white to establish greater control over the central dark squares with the rook now activated on the semi-open c-file, a more favorable outcome than defending the isolated pawn. This move begins to fight for queenside space and prepare an advance with the a-pawn, aiming to disrupt white's pawn structure or create an outpost for black's pieces. The rook on b7 aims to pressure the weak b-pawn and potentially infiltrate the queenside, creating imbalances in the endgame. This move prepares to challenge white's rook on b7, aiming to activate black's rook and disrupt white's pawn structure on the queenside. This exchange has resolved the tension around the d-file, and now white's rook on e7 directly targets black's pieces and territory on the 7th rank, creating immediate tactical possibilities and a positional advantage. The move bf6 repositions the bishop from its initially passive square on g7, aiming to challenge white's centralized rook on e7 and prepare for potential counterplay along the f-file or by supporting a4. This move activates the rook to the 7th rank, targeting black's defensive structure and potentially creating passed pawns on the queenside. This move develops the bishop to a more active diagonal, aiming to contest the open c-file and potentially pressure white's queenside pawn structure. This move activates the rook to a central file, targeting black's vulnerable kingside and potentially creating threats along the 7th rank. After a period of maneuvering and tactical exchanges, black is forced to capture the advanced rook on a7, accepting a worse pawn structure and losing control of the open c-file for white. This move strategically targets black's vulnerable queenside pawn structure and aims to control key central squares after white's earlier rook sacrifice was accepted. The rook is now actively placed on the 7th rank, creating potential threats to white's kingside and preparing for potential pawn advances on the queenside. This move aims to exchange the dark-squared bishops, simplifying the position and removing black's most active piece while opening the diagonal for white's queen. The knight repositions to the d7 square, defending the pawn on b7 and preparing to potentially swing over to the kingside to shore up defenses or participate in counterplay, while also clearing the path for the rook to potentially occupy the 3rd rank. This move repositions the bishop to a more active square, aiming to control key diagonals and potentially support a pawn advance while maintaining defensive coverage. The bishop retreats to a more active diagonal, aiming to support the kingside pawn push and potentially contest the long diagonal after white recaptures on f3. The bishop exchange simplifies the position, forcing black into a passive rook and pawn endgame with a vulnerable queenside pawn structure. This recapture on f6 centralizes the knight, aiming to challenge white's control of the d5 pawn and potentially pressure the weakened kingside. This move aims to destabilize black's pawn structure and potentially create a passed pawn on the queenside by forcing a pawn exchange. This move seizes the open file, aiming to activate the rook and pressure white's potentially exposed king following the pawn structure changes. This move decisively opens the d-file and creates a powerful passed pawn, aiming to exploit the weakened kingside after white's pawn structure has been fragmented. This move prepares to defend the pawn on circa 5, as well as potentially activate the rook on the 6th rank to contest the open c-file. This move centralizes the rook, preparing to contest the d-file and potentially support a kingside pawn push or defend against black's advanced queenside pawns. This knight repositions to a more active central square, ready to support the pawn advance and control key squares. White initiates a pawn storm on the kingside, aiming to create weaknesses and potentially open lines for an attack against black's king. This move aims to prevent white's kingside pawns from advancing further, specifically the g-pawn, by creating a defensive barrier and potentially preparing counterplay on the queenside. This pawn push aims to restrict black's knight and create potential attacking avenues on the kingside, while also preparing to advance the pawn chain. This move brings the king to the more active central squares, preparing to support the g-pawn push and potentially participate in future endgame play. This aggressive pawn push aims to open lines on the kingside, creating attacking possibilities against black's uncastled king while potentially restricting black's piece activity. This move opens the h-file for your rook, creating immediate attacking potential against white's king and preparing to push the g-pawn further. This pawn capture opens the h-file, creating a direct attacking pathway towards black's king. and simultaneously solidifies white's central pawn majority, aiming to create a passed pawn. This move prepares to double the rooks on the d-file, an important open file, and also supports the advance of the central pawns. The king's activation is crucial now as white aims to break through black's defenses with the pawn majority and exploit the open files for the rooks. The rook is strategically placed on the d4 outpost, controlling the d-file and ready to support a pawn advance or exploit weaknesses in white's position. The king repositions to a more active central square, aiming to participate in the pawn endgame and potentially support the advance of the remaining pawns. The king's relocation to e8 is a sensible defensive maneuver, bringing it to a more secure central square away from the potential threats along the d-file and the weakened kingside pawn structure. This rook sacrifice simplifies the position significantly by eliminating a strong central rook, aiming to exploit black's slightly passive king position in the ensuing endgame. The capture on d4 opens the d-file for black's rook, and the immediate threat is the advanced passed pawn on circa 5. Black must decide how to address this persistent threat. This move sacrifices the bishop to create a powerful passed pawn on the d-file, aiming to exploit the exposed black king and potentially force a decisive breakthrough. 41. Kate8 is a necessary defensive maneuver to retreat the king to safety, avoiding the exposed central position and potential threats on the open d-file. The bishop repositions to d5, a strong outpost that controls key central squares and restricts the opponent's king's mobility. This move aims to activate the kingside pawns and potentially create a passed pawn on the g-file, while also weakening the pawn structure around black's king. The king must activate to participate in the endgame, moving towards the center to potentially support pawn advances and control key squares. The pawn capture on g5 opens up the h-file for white's king and unfortunately weakens black's king safety, creating potential targets. This capture simplifies the position, removing a pawn and entering a simplified endgame where white's king is more active and centrally placed, which is advantageous. This move repositions the knight to a more active square, aiming to control central squares and potentially support a kingside advance or defend the weakened pawn structure. The bishop repositions to e6, reinforcing the pawn on d6 and preparing to contest the key c5 square, aiming to restrict black's knight activity and potentially support a central pawn advance for white. This move brings the knight to a more active square, aiming to occupy the central outpost on f4 or g3 while also supporting potential pawn advances on the kingside and eyeing white's slightly exposed king. This move prepares to reinforce the kingside pawn structure and potentially create a passed pawn on the f-file, aiming to gain space and control on that side of the board. This move aims to activate the knight by bringing it to a more central square, potentially threatening f4 or d3 and preparing for further piece coordination in the endgame. This move repositions the bishop to a central square, improving its scope and preparing to support the advance of the remaining pawns while also potentially targeting black's knight. The knight's journey to g2 aims to exploit white's slightly weakened kingside pawn structure after the pawn exchange on g5, potentially preparing for future pressure or a defensive retreat if the position simplifies. The move 48, bd5 repositions the bishop to a central square where it can observe the d-file and potentially support a d-pawn push or defend against black's king's activity, aiming to control key squares in the endgame. The king steps back to d7 to avoid the discovered attack on the rook from the white bishop and to Prepare for potential activity on the central squares or defense of the d pawn. This move aims to centralize the white king, preparing to support the advanced passed pawn on the d-file and potentially create threats on the king side. The king must be brought to safety from the center, as white's pieces are actively positioned for an attack, particularly on the king side where pawns are advanced. The bishop repositions to e4 to control the critical d5 square and prepare for potential exchanges, aiming to simplify into a favorable endgame. This move seeks to activate the knight on e3, aiming to control important central squares and potentially create attacking chances on the king side or prepare for further pawn advancements by white. White's king needs to centralize to support the passed pawn on d6 and prepare for the endgame by connecting the rooks. This move activates the knight to a central outpost, forcing white to address the threat and potentially creating weaknesses in white's pawn structure. The move 52, kc5, advances the king towards the center, aiming to participate in the endgame fight for the remaining pawns and to potentially assist in controlling key squares or supporting pawn pushes in the likely exchanges to come. The knight's return to d7 defends the e5 pawn and prepares to support a potential central pawn push, aiming to restrict white's bishop. The move 53, bc6 forces the black king to move, maintaining the pressure and preparing to recapture the knight on f6 with the bishop, simplifying the position while maintaining a material advantage for white. This check forces black's king to a precarious position on d8, potentially allowing white to consolidate their material advantage with the king moving towards safety and the pawns on the 7th rank posing a threat. This move repositions the bishop to a more active square, aiming to control the dark squares and potentially prepare a further advance on the king side. This move develops the knight to a more active square, aiming to control key central squares and potentially support a kingside attack or defend weaknesses. This move repositions the bishop to a more active square on the diagonal, aiming to control key central squares and potentially support pawn advances or coordinate with the knight. The knight repositions to g2, preparing to challenge white's bishop on d5 and potentially support a kingside advance or counterplay. The king repositions to a more active central square, preparing to support the potential advances of the d-pawn and control key squares in the endgame. Black reiterates the idea of maneuvering the knight to a more active square, aiming to improve its position and potentially create threats on the king side or support a further pawn push. The king's march to e5 centralizes the monarch, aiming to participate in the pawn endgame and potentially support the passed pawns on the queenside. The knight on e3 is a strong central outpost, attacking the bishop on c6 and poised to infiltrate further into white's territory, while also supporting potential pawn pushes. This check forces the black king to move to a more exposed square, potentially setting up a discovered attack or allowing white's king to advance and support a passed pawn. The black king is awkwardly placed on d8, and white's bishop on b5 is well positioned to restrict its movement and potentially set up a check on c6, forcing further king repositioning. The move b3 aims to improve the central pawn structure and potentially prepare for a pawn advance on the queenside, creating a more solid foundation for the king. The move 59, nf5, aims to centralize the knight and potentially create outposts or prepare for a pawn push on the king side, seeking active counterplay despite the material deficit and black's less than ideal pawn structure. The bishop advances to c4, aiming to pressure the d-pawn and control important squares on the queenside, potentially supporting a future advance of the b-pawn. The knight repositions to the more active h4 square, aiming to challenge white's advanced pieces and potentially eye the g2 pawn if the opportunity arises, offering more flexibility than its previous post on f5. The bishop repositions to d5, a central square, to prevent the knight from reaching f4 and to prepare for potential pawn pushes on the kingside or to control the d-file if the knight moves. The knight repositions to a more active square, aiming to improve its scope and potentially support a pawn push or attack on the kingside. The move repositions the bishop to a more active square, potentially preparing to support a pawn advance or improve coordination with the knight. Black's knight repositions to f4, aiming to control the central squares and potentially support a kingside attack, while also preparing to defend against white's passed pawns. This move repositions the bishop to a more active diagonal, aiming to create mating threats and exploit the weakened kingside pawn structure. The knight on g2 is in a precarious position, far from the defense of the black king and potentially vulnerable to white's centralized pieces, especially after black has committed to a passive maneuver. The bishop repositions to b5, maintaining pressure on the knight and preventing its escape to c7 while also keeping an eye on the kingside. This move finally resolves the knight's awkward circulation by bringing it to a more active square. On e1, preparing to potentially support a kingside pawn advance or reposition to the f3 square if white's king moves. The bishop repositions to the c6 square, reinforcing the central pawn structure and preparing to potentially contest the d-file, while also keeping an eye on the g2 pawn. The knight returns to g2 to defend against potential checks and to prepare for a regrouping maneuver, aiming to find a more active square on the kingside. The king's proactive journey towards the center, aiming to support the pawn majority on the kingside and potentially create a decisive passed pawn. The knight repositions to f4, offering a potential exchange to simplify the position and potentially create a passed pawn on the queenside or a strong outpost on d5 for the knight if white's pieces are cleared away. This move repositions the bishop to a more active square, aiming to control key central squares and support the advance of the kingside pawns, while also potentially creating tactical threats against black's knights. With the opponent's king exposed, black aims to consolidate their advantage by preparing to activate the king and challenge white's rook on the h-file, potentially creating counterplay and improving piece coordination. 68. k7. The white king advances to occupy a central, active square, aiming to support the potential passed pawn on the f-file and to restrict the black king's movement. As the endgame simplifies further, this check forces white to defend the king, and black's knight now has an excellent outpost on d5, disrupting white's coordination and potentially leading to a favorable endgame transition. This position has evolved from an initial Sicilian dragon where black played a more positional setup. White's move 68, k7 was a tactical misstep, allowing black's knight to fork the king and rook with 68, nd5+. Now, 69, k8 is forced to save the king but loses the rook, resulting in a lost endgame for white.